Okay, this is part 2 in the movie poster tutorials, and in this one I'm going to be showing you how to bring the pictures that you took onto your poster. Okay, so I have some pictures that I got off one of the cameras, and I'm going to start by removing the background. Now, if you remember from the mutated hand activity we did, you have a couple different options when removing the background. If it's a solid color, you can simply use your magic eraser, which is located kind of halfway down the toolbar, and it has the little asterisk here. So if your background, if you use the white one, it would probably work. Also the green screen, provided you don't have too many shadows, you could remove it pretty easily. I might run into some problems with this one, although it's not quite too bad. But since it was some different shading and colors, it looks like it took away some of it. But let's look. Yeah, it took away some of her hair. So I'm actually going to step back, go backwards. Okay. Now what I can do is right up here in the tolerance, if I take that down a notch in numbers, I can try to do it again and see if I make out a little bit better. Alright. So it was okay, but it's a lot of cleanup work I would have to do afterwards. So I think magic eraser would probably not be the best method for this particular photo. So I'm going to take it back. Actually going to go all the way back. And now what I'm going to do is my quick selection tool. So if you notice right here, this little brush with the little dotted line, this is my quick selection. So I can increase the size, and I'm selecting the part that I want to erase, which is the background. Now you have to be careful because it will try to pick up some parts of the part that you want to keep. So I'm just going back over it to make sure that I don't select her. All right. So now I have the background selected. And now I'm just going to grab my regular eraser, which is right here. I'm going to increase the size so I don't have to do it a lot. And then I'm just going to go through and erase it. Notice she's not erasing because I have her protected because I selected only the background. Alright, so now I'm going to go back to my selection tool and deselect. And actually, so that I don't take the white background with me, I'm going to switch over to my magic eraser and click on that and get rid of the white background. Alright, so now I'm ready to grab my move tool, and I want to move her onto my movie poster. So kind of the easiest way to do this is to click right up here where your tab is and drag it down, and you should see kind of your poster underneath. And now I'm just going to drag her right over and let go. Now because she doesn't have any feet, the picture was taken where the feet were cut off, I'm going to make sure I place her towards the bottom, and I want to make her a little bit bigger so she kind of fits in with the scene a little bit. And then I'm hitting my check. Now I definitely have some cleanup work to do because we have some sections that I brought over here that I certainly don't need. So we went over this before, but I'm going to review it really quick. Your layer mask tool. This is the best way to do for cleaning up your edges. So I'm going to add a layer mask to this by going to Layer, Layer Mask, and then Reveal All. Remember, you want black on top, so I'm going to hit this little reverse arrow thing. So black's on top, white is on bottom. And I'm going to grab my regular paintbrush, which is right here. You want to make sure the mode is set to normal, that opacity up here is at 100%, as well as flow. And then right here where your brush is, I'm going to have my hardness kind of right in the middle. And I'm going to make the size kind of somewhat large, but not completely too large where I can't get into details. And then I'm just basically going to start going in and smoothing out these edges so that she blends in with the background a little bit better. So here's kind of a trick when you're dealing with especially the hair. Most people want to try to be completely perfect with the lines. You don't want to do that, because what will happen is if I'm perfect with these lines as far as, and I make sure her hair is completely even all over, what'll end up happening is that it'll look like she almost has a helmet on as opposed to natural hair. So notice I'm just kind of single clicking and taking off a little bit of the edges kind of here and there to make it look a little bit more realistic. Okay, so I'm going to just keep going around here on the edges. Sometimes if you have your brush set to too soft, you'll take away too much. So I don't want to go too close in. I'm actually going to increase the hardness a little bit so it doesn't take too much of the edges a little bit. Ooh, took off too much. So I'm going to switch it over to white. And let me zoom in. You can always zoom in, hit Control plus. That'll give you a little bit more control. Oops. All right, and now we just basically keep going around to the different parts of these edges because I want to get rid of those parts that don't belong. Don't try to rush through it. Take your time with this because you want it to be neat. And it really helps to kind of zoom in when you're working with the edges because then you're able to kind of really get into the details of it. So just zooming in. And I might have taken off a little too much here. We'll see when I zoom out. Oh, it's okay. I might have taken off a few pounds off of her, but whatever. All right, so I would basically just kind of keep going around to her different parts that needed to be adjusted. Definitely the hair would require some more work and attention as it relates to the edges. I'm not gonna do the whole thing with you only because with time purposes I don't want the tutorial video to last that long. But some things you want to leave in and then some things you can take out. So when you're dealing with the hair, especially like notice this part right here, how I have it really kind of blends with the background, and if I do it too much it'll start to look kind of weird. So now it's going to look like she's missing a chunk of her hair right there. So that's not something I want to do at all. One trick that you can do, however, if you dial down on your opacity, and then I'm basically just kind of going to go in here a little bit and start to take it away. It's not really, oh wait, I need to switch it over. So it takes it away some, but not all. No, that was still too much. Just step backward. What you could do is do some kind of trimming around it. Just kind of what I'm doing. For this part right here, let's see what my magic eraser will look like. So I'm going to switch back over to the picture and try it. And then switch back to my layer mask. Alright, so basically I would just keep kind of going along here until, did too much, until I had it kind of looking the way I want it. Okay. So I didn't finish that side of the body, and I'm not going to do it right now. So basically then I would go along and just start working with my next one. So just like I did with that one, I would use my quick selection tool and just continue doing that until I have all the characters in place. So that's it for removing the background. Hopefully at this point you basically want to work and start adding things to your background. The next video is going to go over how to add text.